This is the Charles Adler Tonight podcast.
I'm Jody Vance in for Charles Adler, and we're taking a break from our top story. If any news comes in on the manhunt in Manitoba, we will update you. But this is important. This is unbelievable. When this came across our desk, we have got to have this individual in studio. And just as it happens, he just arrived in British Columbia, in the Lower Mainland, to dip his wheel of his kick scooter in English. He's a 38-year-old Calgarian named Rich Adams. He's a compassionate vegan man dedicating his life to defending animals. And you rode a kick scooter across the country?
I did. Thank you for inviting me in. Yeah, so today was the final day of my journey. So on the 1st of April, I dipped the rear wheel of my scooter into the Atlantic, and nearly 4 months later, I'm dipping the front wheel into the Pacific.
And why are you doing this?
So this originally started last year, and I became aware of the dog meat trade in Asia, and specifically in South Korea. South Korea is the only country that actually farms dogs. They eat around 2.5 million per year. And I became aware of this. And what really shocked me was the barbarity. So dogs are raised in horrific conditions. And the point of eating these dogs is these dogs must suffer. So they actually want the dogs to suffer. So these dogs are brutalized and tortured, and then they're consumed. So
can I ask there's nothing that could explain that to me, being a dog lover, an animal lover across the board, but what benefit is it to the South Korean to have a long-suffering dog for dinner as opposed to just dog for dinner?
So this happens all over Asia. It's not just South Korea, but South Korea is the only one that actually farms these dogs. And the belief is, there's kind of two myths that have evolved from this. One of the first ones is that by making the dog suffer and then consuming its flesh, it'll make men better in bed. So it will improve their virility.
Oh my God.
The second belief is that during the hottest months of the year, and right now we're in that period, it's called Bok now, is that during this period, by consuming these dogs, that it'll actually keep you cool.
It's 2019. People actually believe those two myths in Asia?
It's unreal. And so I became aware of this. And
I was not aware of either of those points until just now. So you're hitting me with it, and you're talking to Canada on the Chorus Radio Network here. So give us an idea of the action that we, as Canadians, might be able to take in support of ending this.
So the biggest thing really is we have to put pressure on South Korea and all Asian countries to say this is unacceptable. And there's huge amounts of dogs that are being rescued. So rescuers need help. So probably one of the first things that people could do would to actually be to adopt a dog. That is something that they can actually do. They can be a hero. They can save a life, something tangible. The second thing we need to do is really put pressure and educate South Koreans and all Asians and say, look, this is not acceptable. These are the reasons why. And I think then a third thing people can do, which is connected to this, is actually themselves look at what they do. And this is kind of what I did, was when I looked at this dog meat trade and I pointed the fingers, all of a sudden the fingers pointed back at me and said, well, wait a minute, you can't judge because you're eating pigs, cows, chickens, turkeys. They're all living beings. So I think the third thing
I'm going to make you pause right there just because I like the middle and I like the little bit of moderation. And I had an holistic nutritionist on last night who was talking about a plant-based diet.
Yes.
And how moving people towards a plant-based diet without being a militant vegan. You are Rich the Vegan. That's your web address. And I respect that. Yeah. I have a very good friend of mine, Jan Arden, who was posting about being a vegan, and she feels very strongly. And you can be an animal lover and still be a pescatarian. You can be for some people, I know you're blinking at me, you don't like it, but I'm just going to put it out there so that when people are listening right now and aren't necessarily prepared to go full vegan tomorrow in support of whatever, a small step toward a plant-based diet helps the world in ways that are measurable?
This is it. I mean, well, the third thing is for people to go vegan. Now, obviously, the world is not going to go vegan overnight. That's the reality. But I will support anyone taking any steps. And so any step you take that is going to lessen suffering is a positive step.
Right.
And that feels good. Now, the end goal is obviously veganism, which affects everything. It's a lifestyle. If it's just your diet, then yes, that's plant-based. So that is the end goal. And so any step towards that is a step forward. It's a step for progress. Mm-hmm. And it's saving life. So they're the three things people can do. And so when I saw this dog meat trade, I thought, I've got to do something. So the idea then came up to scoot across Korea.
I can't believe scoot. Like, why a scooter? I mean, this is going from a very serious topic to I'm looking at the photos on your website and it's a scooter, dude. It's
a scooter. I was going to run. And then I thought, I'm not an athlete. And I thought using a scooter is going to get a lot of attention. A 6-foot guy, ginger beard, a foreigner in Korea, you're going to get attention.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And then during that trip, I then saw these dogs in cages and it became from awareness into a rescue mission. So that was really the basis for Canada.
Okay, so there are 2 dogs in this control room right now.
Yep.
We got Bear.
Yes.
And King Kong.
Yes.
And I would like a little bit of each of their story.
So King Kong's the oldest. He's 6. So he was my first dog. So I got him in Korea. His history is somewhat unknown. I got him very young. And so he's been with me. He's gone from Korea to England, and then from England to Canada, and all the way across Canada, actually. So he's very much...
He scootered with you?
He actually went across in a van.
Oh, okay.
So
I was going to say, the poor paws on poor King Kong.
King Kong lived in a van for a while. So he's had a very nice time the last few years. He's been very good with me. Bear is the newest dog. So he's about a year and a half. And he spent the first year of his life in a cage. And so as
the full year, like never out of a cage.
He's never been out of a cage. So when I was scooting, one day I went through this little village and there was 2 dogs in cages by the side of the road. Bear was one, another one called Buddy. And I stopped and I saw their faces and Bear was jumping up, just crying out for love and attention. And
they choose you.
I said, I'll be back.
Oh.
And so I finished the trip and went back and got them.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's beautiful. And he knew you when you got back to him, I bet.
Well, when it was actually a rescuer called Jenny Kim who went and got him. So for being a foreigner over there, getting into these complexities of rescues when you're dealing with social etiquette, hierarchies, a culture that I don't fully understand, I was reaching out for help and I teamed up with this amazing woman, Jenny Kim. So South Koreans themselves are fighting against this.
Yes.
And
that is a very important and good point.
It's
not just everybody going, we're farming dogs, reading the dogs, we're torturing the dogs. There are people there just...
A lot of people all over Asia and in South Korea are fighting back against this. And Jenny's one of these women. And these women are brave. They risk their lives to help these dogs.
To help. So where would we find out more about Jenny? On your website?
So if you go to my website, which is richthevegan.com, it has all the information there.
This is a fascinating story, and it's an excellent website. I spent a little time roaming around on it. Most people know that I'm the crazy dog lady. I rescue. I have 3 dogs. They are brilliant and beautiful. And I love that you brought a couple of dogs here today. Thank you for what you're doing, and I hope we can help you move it forward.
Thank you very much.